some of the family over
Yeah.
for snacks and
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
and have them all
Yeah.
gather in here.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
maybe that will do something. The other thing I wanted to mention about eating is make sure that he sits upright, and it doesn't have to be like bolt upright, but up, like maybe like this.
I'm going to turn this way, like at least more than what he is now.
Yes, so that for about 30 minutes, because that allows him to digest the food so that it doesn't come back up again.
Okay.
That's
All
really
right.
important.
For 30 minutes. Okay.
About 30 minutes, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Is he eating solids as well as liquids?
He's eating solids.
Good.
But not a lot. And he does drink mostly,
Yeah.
like some vegetable juice. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are really, really attentive. That's really great.
Yeah. Well, it's, his wife is really the one. So, and he responds to her voice.
Well.
Yeah. So.
That's great.
Yeah. But,
well, I'm hopeful that he finds the spark within him to respond, because I think that would just be great for him and for everybody else.
Okay. Yeah.
Is hospice talking to you about the process of where he is, and physically and emotionally?
The nurse, the case nurse worker, she, has mentioned, where, percentage-wise, based on her experience, where he was, she, estimates he is now, and, bringing him up to the next, like, I guess, she said something like he was at 50% before he fell, which is basically he was able to get up and walk around with the walker. And since his fall, he's probably down to maybe, she said 20, but I'm feeling like it's even less than that. But, because he's not able to do anything.
Yeah.
Or not willing either.
Well, and communicating his needs is a big part of that too. So I know that he can moan and groan when he's uncomfortable, and my hands were cold, so he obviously responded to that, which is actually good. But actually being able to tell us something, that's what I'm looking for. That's what we want. We want him to engage. Engagement is like critical for everybody.
Okay.
Everybody, when you're ill.
Okay. All right.
That shows me that there's somewhat of a will there for something.
Okay.
And this, he's going to find his way, whatever direction he takes. And we just have to respect him and just take the best care of him that we possibly can.
Okay. I know Mrs. Mock keeps trying to encourage him to eat, but yeah.
He knows what he needs. Yeah.
Okay. So there isn't anything else that you would recommend other than sitting up and, especially during eating, and talking to him more, trying to get him to stay awake.
We're doing everything very nicely.
Well, I think, because there's only one or two of us here at a time. I think he responds more when there's a lot of activity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One thing you can try, I don't think he was strong enough today, but maybe later today or maybe even tomorrow, try to keep the bed rail up when you need to roll him to one side or the other, and see if you can gently guide his arm over and have him hold onto the rail. See if he'll help pull himself.
Okay.
Just even a little bit.
Okay.
Because that's number one, good exercise for the arm. And number two, it shows that he can follow directions and that he actually wants to help. And that when we can be more independent, even in a small way like that, it makes us feel better. And I think it'll do the same for him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just little subtle things that we want to pay attention to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the one thing I learned, I've been doing this for a long time, but probably the first most important lesson I learned as an OT is that every single person on earth deserves to have the opportunity to make a decision about something in their life. Something. Whatever that is. So I always try to keep that in my mind, and that's why when I approach somebody, I try to see if I can get them to engage and tell me what's up. What do you want?
So what is the difference between you're occupational therapist versus a physical therapist?
I love it when people ask me that. Good for you. So, the way I describe it is very simply, and occupational therapy, unfortunately, is so convoluted. It's like goes into so many different directions. And PT, we know pretty much. PT works on gait, strengthening the legs, um, balance, and things like that. They're just very, you know, right here. OT is like this big. But OT is more about the functional activities of daily living. So it involves many, many more things. But basically, for someone like Mr. Muck, it would be toileting, bathing, dressing, grooming, oral care, feeding, just the basics. And then how do you get to the bathroom? How do you get to the dining room table? How do you get to your wheelchair or the commode or whatever? That's the very basic description of it. It's the functional activities.
Okay.
So we do kind of overlap a little bit because PT can walk somebody to the bathroom too, because they're working on their gait.
Mm-hmm.
But we are doing it to get the person so they can toilet and be more independent while they toilet.
Okay.
We also, just in case you ever want to know in the future, we also work like in schools with children.
Mm-hmm.
They have difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
We work in the military. We work in private business. We work in all different